When I was a baby, my American mother abandoned me and my Canadian father, so I was raised by my father. I had a good life, but my father never spoke my mother's name. He refused to tell me anything about her. Then he died 10 years ago, and he left me knowing nothing about my mother. Then about 4 years later, a lawyer from California called me and told me my mother died. So legally, I was her only living relative, and the house was mine. I didn't ask how she died. I didn't care. My boyfriend David lived in Montreal, and we had been together for 3 years, and we had planned to get married.
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting.
He was going to meet me in California in a week. Then we would decide whether to sell the house or keep it and move in it permanently.
Well, it'd be nice to have a little emotional support sometimes.
We had spent lots of time apart, but as soon as I got into that house, I became angry about everything. I just couldn't help myself. We were on the phone, arguing again.
Hold on, I hear something.
And I swear, there was something in the yard.
I think there's somebody here. No, I'm not paranoid. Why do you assume I'm paranoid? Just get here.
I had traveled all over the world, but I had never felt this paranoid before. And I checked all the locks again and again.
Oh.
I felt like I was going to jump out of my own skin. I was concentrating on trying to get the wine out when I glanced up at the mirror. My eyes were black. I thought I had just imagined it, but I was terrified to open my eyes again. They were fine. I told myself that the wine was bad. There was definitely a face in the window. When I went outside, there was no one there. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to take a bath. It was the first time since I got here that I felt a little like myself. The tub was completely filled with blood. I covered my face with a towel. I was completely terrified to look, but when I did, the water was clear again. I convinced myself it was just a terrible nightmare. I stopped taking baths after that. I was terrified of that house, but for some strange reason, I was even more afraid to leave. I just can't explain it.
You're having fun wherever you're at? 'Cause I'm going crazy.
It was like I was suddenly descending into this dark, bottomless hole for no reason.
Shut up!
I knew I had to get out of that house, even for one night. I didn't know where to go, maybe a hotel, but I forced myself to pack. And that's when I found this big duffel bag. I could feel that it was cold inside. I've seen friends die from drug overdoses. Except this time, it was my face I was looking at. I prayed it was another nightmare, but I knew it wasn't. What was happening to me? Then I felt the strange calmness come over me, and then I heard this. It sounded like a gunshot from inside the bedroom. There I was again. This time with a bullet hole in my head. And that's when I thought I understood what was happening. Someone or something was trying to drive me to kill myself. And it never even occurred to me that whatever it was inside my house. I noticed something under the couch. There was this folder. It was from an insane asylum or something. October 12th, 1979. Sophie Durand, my mother. Multiple suicide attempts. Electroshock administered. Requires constant supervision. Released to the care of Eleanor Wolf, her neighbor. I looked down and I saw this photograph of me. At least I thought it was me, but I'd never seen it before.
You look just like her.
It was Eleanor, my mother's caretaker before she died. She was a strange woman.
How did she die?
My mother cut her own throat.
I only stepped out for a moment. Just a moment.
That's when it all made sense to me. I wasn't seeing my suicide. I was seeing my mother's, all her attempts to kill herself, because my mother didn't know she was already dead. Eleanor went home, and I was still trying to process everything she told me about my mother's suicide. I thought it might be Eleanor again, so I went outside. But there was no one I could see. My entire life, I hated my mother for leaving me. But killing herself over and over again was worse than any punishment I could ever imagine.
Sophie? Sophie, it's your girl.
Some people believe that mirrors can be portals between the worlds of the living and the dead. And the living and the dead can communicate through these passageways.
Sophie.
We were just about to give up. I was staring into the mirror, hoping for some sign from her. Glass flew across the room. I couldn't move. I thought all the bottles were gonna shatter. There she was. I saw her for a split second. Mom? And she disappeared. And then everything stopped, and it was completely quiet. I'm not sure what we did, but I hope we released her and that she's no longer in pain.